Hi, Jacob here with ePoolSupply. Today we're going to go over how to rebuild a 5-port caretaker valve with a factory 5.9/2001 rebuild kit. Make sure that when you are purchasing rebuild kits for caretaker valves, only buy the Zodiac Caretaker ones. Don't buy aftermarket ones. They don't work that well. So 5.9/2001, that'll say it nice and pretty right here on the box. And then that's pretty much what we're going to do today. So first things first, how to diagnose if your caretaker valve is bad is usually if your heads are not rotating like they're supposed to be. It will, obviously the valve's bad, but also when you take your valve out of the housing, these pistons, when they just don't retract, they're supposed to be able to push them in and it pops right back out. We'll see that at the end of the video, what it's supposed to be like. That means they're bad when they just wiggle around here, and it means the pistons are bad. It's time to put a new rebuild kit in there. So, alright, first things first, all you're going to use is a screwdriver or a tiny little drill that gets the screws out quickly. Just remember, don't over tighten them. Alright, so now that I have the screws out, what you want to do is lift the housing right off, and you'll see the guts of it. So the inside of the housing just has your gear plate, where it kind of takes the gears and it'll actually rotate around it so it doesn't spin freely. Pretty straightforward, it's just the top housing. And now here's your brains behind the operation. So pretty much when water passes through the top, this thing will spin, and it'll slowly allow these pistons to go up one at a time, which will then allow water to each station of your pool. So sometimes you'll get it to where your gears are bad. It's where you'll spin it and it just doesn't go anywhere. That's another way to find out if it's bad. But in this case, the pistons are bad, so we're going to replace the whole thing because our gear kit comes with the entire thing, so that's why it's good to replace everything that comes inside the box. So let's take pistons out. Hopefully we'll get a better look about what it looks like when they're bad. So, it's hard for you guys to tell, but there's some chemical damage here. Inside there, I doubt that you can see it, but it's got a little green and yellow and corrosive type look to it. Pretty much what that means is somebody either put too much chlorine or acid in their pool and kind of rotted away the pistons. So that's why they're not working too well anymore. So let's get this thing swapped out. So pretty much you want to take everything out. All you want is plastic material left. So you want a bare base plate. Okay. On the bottom there's 5 O-rings that need to be replaced as well. You can pop those 5 O-rings out and we can replace those. So let's get started. All right, so now we're back here. All I have are my 2 plates. I got my top housing and my bottom housing. I took the O-ring off that surrounds the bottom housing, so pretty much it's just bare bones right now. So let's open up the 5.9/2001 gear kit. So the gears come a little bit bubble wrap, so it keeps it nice and protected. So it all comes together for you, which is really nice because it's a really big pain if the rubber band falls off trying to figure out where the gears go. So slowly what I like to do is put this to the side, and then you want to put the other pistons in first. That goes on top of the pistons. So it comes with O-rings, O-rings, more O-rings. You got your bag of hardware, which is your ball bearings and your screws and your nuts. So it'll you can throw literally everything away that's disposable from the last one. It's kind of nice that they give you, just in case you, if I leave something out, it comes with instructions. And it's got 5 pistons in the bottom, so let's put the pistons in, followed by the ball bearings, and then the gears, and then we'll put this bad boy back together. So the pistons, so pretty much what happens is, so here you go, if you push it in, it's kind of neat. That means it's a good piston. The other ones didn't do that, so it's a bad piston. So the top of the piston has this little hole where the ball bearing goes. All of these should be faced towards the middle of the valve. So let's put one in and I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. So that's one. So that's the way it's supposed to look like. Everything faced towards the center of the valve. So let me pop in these other guys. It's kind of nice that they actually kind of just slide in there and they stay in there. So nothing to worry about there. It's when you start putting the ball bearings on is when you have to be very, very careful of moving the valve too much, because once the ball, if you put the top housing on, the ball bearing falls out, then you have to take the whole thing apart again. It's really, really fun. So let's take the ball bearings apart. Let's empty our whole bag of goodies. And we can use this as our trash box. So one ball bearing at a time goes right on top of the open hole here at the top. So we'll pop one on, pop another one on, and they stay into place for the most part. So now it's time for our gear kit. So you want to keep it all together. So you want to slowly take the rubber band off so the gear kit doesn't go anywhere. And then the bottom of this, the shaft right here goes into this hole in the middle of the plate. So then it slides in there. Voila, you turn it. And that's the way a gear kit should actually work. And it slides right in. So now we put on our O-ring that goes around the immediate base. So it comes with 2 O-rings that look this big. They're exactly the same thing, so it doesn't matter which one you use. One goes underneath the housing to put it back onto the FAC is what they call it, the part that glues into the plumbing. And this other one goes in between here and here. So that's how we're going to seal it all up. So now the fun part. So if you notice, there's all the screw holes, and then there's an open hole right here. It's somewhere around here. There's an open hole, and on the bottom of this base, there's a little plug that sticks up. Those two are what matches up to each other. So you want to line those up the best you can. And then it just goes together like that, which is really, really simple in my opinion. And then what you want to do is maintain pressure on it. Then you want to slowly flip it over. You want to keep pressure on it, or else your ball bearings are going to fall apart. And this is one at a time. So this is an older valve with only 6 screws. The newer valves have 12. So that's why they give you 12, even though you might need 6. It doesn't really matter. It'll all work the same. So, and then we just want to put each screw in one at a time. So then you want to do kitty corners, so you want to start furthest away. So you want to actually take a nut, put it on there, and then tighten one side, not too tight, and then the other side, and then you don't have to worry about the pressure anymore, keeping it on the valve. So now we can tighten them up on both sides, and the pressure's pretty good. So now we can go around the rest of it and put our nuts in. And pretty much after that we'll be pretty close to done. So let's go ahead and tighten these up. These are Alright, now that all of our screws are in, we want to replace these O-rings up here, and then we're pretty much done. So pretty much you want to take off all these O-rings. Sometimes they're going to be really on there. These are what separates the, it's kind of make it so the pressure all stays within one port at a time. If you don't put these O-rings in, it's going to look like all your heads are popping up at the same time. So, and you're not going to get the right pressures and everything else. So it's actually kind of important to have these O-rings. So let's pop each one of these on there. And then remember, when your valve is installed, you want 20 pounds of pressure on the valve itself. That's your magical number, is 20. So right here, you want 320. That's going to make your valve work properly. If you don't have anywhere close to that, then something is wrong. Usually it's not enough pressure, so you got water going somewhere else, but Caretaker usually likes 100% of your water. So make sure 100% of your water is going towards the valve. Also check the screen that goes in here every once in a while, because that will clog up and make the valve not work. But this is how you rebuild a Caretaker valve. Thanks for watching ePoolSupply.com.